begin to tell your story, I'll tell you a little bit about mine. I lived with my PTSD for 30 years undiagnosed. When they first told me you have PTSD, my first thought was, okay, PT means physical training, and SD must mean San Diego. But that indeed wasn't the case, and I often try to use humor as a way to suppress what's really going on. In that 30-year period, I picked up a couple prison terms. I picked up about 5 different drug habits, and I drank everything that was brewed under the sun. In that time, I lost custody of my family, not once, but twice. And when the VA offered me a shoebox full of pills to take care of my PTSD, I said, that's not going to work for me. Number one, I'll eventually abuse them, and then I'll try to sell them, and then I'll end up back in prison. We'll talk about prison a little bit later. But my therapist said, okay, let's try art. I said, Art, how is art going to heal me? With my bitter, angry attitude, I had this permanent condition that there was no cure for. So my therapist, she brought a box of crayons and a paper plate. And it was right around Thanksgiving, so you know what I did? I did my little Thanksgiving turkey. And I felt like a 5-year-old kid in kindergarten again. But I got to color it and I got to decorate it. And she said, Darron, stop for a minute. I want you to notice how you feel right now. If you could see the smile on your face. I said, this is what art does? I was hooked from then on. I've done ceramics, I've done painting. I went back to school, joined a speech team, became a nationally recognized storyteller. Went on to get a master's degree. Now I teach communication classes at 5 different colleges in San Diego. After the VA told me I was unemployable. But what the arts have done for me, and I'm sure each and every one of you have your own story to tell about how you got here today on the 4th of July in Grape Day Park. Your art. If the VA could prescribe the arts in a little orange bottle with a child-proof cap, how many people do you think would OD? Zero. God bless you all. God bless America. Have a great day. Most importantly, tell your story.
During my time in the military, I only knew how to talk to men. And so when I got out, it was a whole new world to me to understand women. And I was fortunate enough to get a job in a rubber stamp store, and that led me to art and learning to talk to women. I'd had several articles published in national craft magazines. And during this time, I took a ceramics class over at Rancho Bernardo Winery, and I fell in love with clay. And I started doing clay in 2009, and it's my life. If I didn't have art, I'm not sure what my life would be like. My husband is older and he's not very active, so art gets me out of the house. It connects me with women, and I'm so happy to be a ceramic artist.
How has creating art changed your life?
It's kept me in touch with women, with other artists. I do art every day because it's my life.
And your life is better for it.
Oh my gosh, yes. I think I would go crazy if I didn't have art. I wouldn't know what to do with my day. It's my passion, and I think every person should have a passion, and they're missing something in life if they don't.
I'm Kelly Cardinell. I did 21 years in the Marine Corps in the infantry. My piece is let those who desire peace prepare for war, and I have the national symbol. One head facing the arrows, the other one's facing the olive branches, and my thing is I love nature, being in the mountains, so it's this is my American dream, just being out in the mountains, enjoying myself. And then I grew up in northern Arizona, and there's a bunch of different people that live there, but we always seem to come around the campfire and deal with whatever we got going on, and it doesn't matter like where you're at, you can still just come around the fire and, you know. I was one of those guys, if you told me I was going to be doing pottery, like when I was in the Marine Corps, I would have laughed.
I'll do pottery to have something to shoot at, right?
Yeah, because I was a grunt. It's like, oh, have a good time, resolve problems, and just enjoy each other's company. Doesn't matter like where you're from.
Hi, Mike. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how creating art has affected you?
Hi, yes. My name is Mike Ortiz. I am a Navy veteran. I was a corpsman with the Marines, and this was back in the 80s. And over the period of time, I just had a lot of problems with depression and had no idea that I had any type of creativity in me until I got here with the art project with Vet Art. And I don't even know what kind of artistic qualities I have. I just know that I'm enjoying this. And something that's really important that I just found out right now is about focus. I focus a lot on depression and negative things, and working with art gives me something very positive and very creative to focus on. So I'm spending less time focusing on the negative things and more time focusing on the positive things, and this is really helping out a lot.
Hi, I'm Reginald Green from Dallas, Texas. I served 15 years in the United States Navy. I'm an instructor, artist, and advocate for veterans for vetart.org, the Veterans Art Project. And I got into art to help me heal. I was suffering from anxiety and depression, and my director, Steve Dilley, set out some clay, and during COVID, I went in there and I started creating things. So this is some of my work that I create. I also advocate for veterans because I believe art is healing. So this actually helps me, so I figured it would help other veterans.
But how does it help you?
It helps me mentally. It helps me take my mind off of pain and my traumas from the military. It gives me something to focus on, and it gives me purpose. And I feel that I had other people come and say that I inspired them with my journey. So I just keep going, and this is very healing to me. So I figure if I'm inspiring people, I need to just keep going and doing it.
Well, I've seen your progression in the last, since I first met you a couple of years back. Mm-hmm. You're a fantastic artist.
Thank you.
You do a variety of art. So I would like for you to talk about especially this lovely piece right here. Can you tell me what inspired you to do this?
So I like a lot of ancient civilization type stuff, African, Mayan, Vikings. I even like aliens. So I like try to go back to the ancestors, and I want to represent all cultures. So I make like warriors and futuristic stuff in different cultures. So yeah, that's what I do. I like creating, and this just gives me endless of things to create. And some things I just create, it just comes to me and I just work with it. I call it clay doodling. This piece right here is derived from the Benin tribe. Some of their art, they make a lot of art in bronze. I made a ceramic piece that has similar things, but I add my own twist to it. And this actually opens up here.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then even on the inside it's decorated. I try to just decorate everything, and it's supposed to look like a little galaxy inside.
Chuy, can you tell me a little bit about your military background? I know that you were in the Marine Corps and what you did in the Marine Corps, and how you transitioned out of the Marine Corps, and what happened to you to get you to the point to where you are now an incredible artist.
I was a scout for the Marine Corps. I was being trained to be a tunnel rat. I ran 3 miles in 15 minutes, so they used me for my speed. And transitioning out of the Marine Corps was hard because nobody.
How has creating art through vet art transformed your life?
Oh, it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to sculpt like that. It just comes out of the top of my head. I can look at a picture and I can actually make it what I see straight from clay. I think it's an amazing ability, and I thank God for that.
Did you know you had that ability? Were you an artist before you went into the Marine
I'm a
Corps?
hairstylist and I draw, so that might have helped.
So how long have you been involved with vet art?
Not very long. I would say about a year.
Wow.
And I only sculpt at home, so I don't do any of that work there. I've never learned how to sculpt. I just make it up as I go.
Well, I will say this to you. For someone who's making it up as they go, and I recognize that, your stuff is amazing. I mean, your art, your craft is incredible, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So is there anything you would like to say to a young Marine getting out of the Marine Corps these days that went through similar experiences as yourself, why they should think about creating art because it has had such an impact on your life?
Well, I feel it. I don't know what to say. I mean, it has to be on the individuals also, how they perceive the clay and what it makes them feel. Me just hanging on to the clay, it just makes me want to sculpt with it. I couldn't throw the wheel, so I told Steve when I first got there, I said, I want to be a sculptor. You know? That's what I'd done.
Hi, Tony. I've known you about a year and a half now. So I've always been impressed with what I call your faces here. Tony, can you tell us about these beautiful pieces that you have created?
Yes, I'd be happy to. First, it's a triptych, which means it's a 3-in-1 artwork. This is a bronze sculpture, which is a 12-step process. And without going into that process, briefly, it was made as a project through vetart.org when they had their foundry in Fallbrook, California, and they provided free bronze casting for veterans, and I'm a veteran. And as a veteran, I've been concerned about the epidemic of veteran and military suicides. Years ago, the VA and other organizations conducted research, and they determined that the epidemic had reached a high level of 22 daily veteran suicides. Recent research would seem to indicate that that number has actually doubled, but nobody can prove the statistics one way or another. In either case, my point of view as a veteran, who is a certified gatekeeper with the QPRinstitute.org, which organization is dedicated to suicide intervention and prevention, and QPR is designed to be a public program where people can get certified online, and QPR stands for question, persuade, and refer, so that you are trained and certified to engage with people, and if you feel from their comments and behavior that they're suffering from suicide ideation, you can gently interact with them, not as a doctor, not as a psychiatrist, not as a therapist, but as a fellow veteran who's concerned for their welfare, and guide them out of that crisis to get immediate help. So for years I've belonged to a wide variety of veteran organizations, and we're all dedicated one way or another to supporting veterans, military, and their families. So one of my personal projects, goals, objectives, is to intervene and prevent veteran and military suicide. When I had the opportunity to engage in the free bronze casting program through vetart.org at Fallbrook, California, one of the ideas I had was to create an artwork that would address the epidemic of veteran and military suicides. I did some research, and with my background in the arts for many years, and with experience in various degrees, I came up with the idea of using my own face in my own hands, which would make me an integral part of my own artwork. And also the idea of the three mystic monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And today's title for this triptych is Public Awareness of the Current Epidemic in Suicides. So I'm lumping in all suicides, civilian, military, veteran, and their families, because in all categories we're suffering a phenomenal epidemic. So I try not to give this any more specific title than Suicide Epidemic Public Awareness, because I genuinely believe, from my experience in my vet organizations and civilian organizations, is that a majority of the community, civilians, are not aware of this epidemic of suicides in all these different categories. So by creating a generalized, non-specific title, I invite the spectator to come up with an individual personal interpretation of this artwork. And they are making the correct choice, whatever choice they make. It's my artwork, but it's their interpretation.
My name is Omar Columbus. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm originally from North Carolina. Now I live here in Southern California. I'm excited to be here. Right now I'm pretty busy doing a lot of different things, wearing various hats. For one, I'm a poet, a photographer, and I'm currently curating veteran art shows. I'm pretty excited about that. Everything is going well with that. I've curated now 7 different shows, working on my 8th show right now. So it's been coming along. I curate shows here in Southern California, and I've also curated shows in New York City.
Can you tell me about the shows you're creating in New York City? Because I think that's pretty exciting.
The show is called Journeys Onward, and it's a veteran curated show, and it has 35 veterans and over 100 pieces of art in the show. And along with the artwork, we have accompanying words. So I wrote a poem with my photo that's hanging in the show. Other people, you just basically write a little bit, tell about your experience, and basically to pull the audience into the work while they're there at the reception to check out the artwork.
Well, I know one of the first times I met you was at a vet art pop-up. I do believe it was Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Sacramento.
Recited a poem that you wrote that just absolutely knocked me out. Can you please recite my favorite poem you've done so far? It's called A Camouflaged Heart.
Yes. Camouflaged Heart is one of my favorite poems, and I love to deliver it. So here we go. War makes humans human. Conflict is universal. From the beginning there was war, before I was born and lifetimes afar. Battles rage as mankind ages, yet never learns from past mistakes or from stories of those who live to tell of what war remains, a living hell. I had never been more present than at that moment. Standing there in a desert land, hearing a foreign language I could not understand. I was camouflage dressed so that I could blend in. Desensitized to suffering and pain, only a camouflaged heart remained. A predator drone loitered above, waiting to dehumanize the enemy. With my weapon in hand, encircled by sand, requesting a drone strike, reports of Taliban, but with drone sights locked on to an evading man, he left his truck in the sand and away he ran. But with crosshairs locked on, the moving target engaged, the coordinates called in, hellfire missiles rained. dust and blood splattered and settled, my life forever changed. You see, it's the things you can't see that hurt me the most. Only a camouflaged heart remains. Now I'm no longer a warrior, now a veteran, seeking renewal and transitioning to peace. But still, dreams of war knock at my door. I try not to let them in. They invade, they conquer, they win. My willingness to do whatever to do outweighed my fear to die. But searching for weapons of mass destruction turned out to be a damn lie. Now I have guilt because I survived it. Isolating. Comrades didn't make it back alive. Hyperventilating. My nightmares evolve into daymares. No one sees, no one cares. What I've experienced, what I've done. I was once an asset, now a liability. Medicate the veteran. Keep him numb. In a country broken into pieces, currently, I see no peace. Constantly worried about mankind because the next man may not be kind. I deployed in defense of a nation, returned home to unemployment and discrimination. And for walking while black, I've been stopped and frisked 3 times, racial profiling the determination. I went from military to civilian, lost in translation. My world flipped upside down, forced reintegration. Prior discipline to post-stressed with deteriorated motivation as I watch elected officials erase my service. Oh, the ultimate humiliation. And after 12 years of honorable service, I wake up daily, a black man in America feeling nervous. And yes, I'm still in pain. You just can't see it. Only a camouflaged heart remains.